Safe is a leading provider of certification, audit and compliance services, specialising in safety, quality, environmental and chain of custody standards.
Get your Gameface on. Get your Gameface on.
G'day and welcome to the Gameface Footy Show for the Southern Football Netball League Division 2. My name is Russell Robertson. I'm bringing you everything to do with this division and the week that just happened and what's about to happen, which is the finals. Joined by these legends as well on the panel. As always, I've got Tomo over there and I've got Wilbur here, but a special guest, Lou Roberts, in studio. We've been trying to get him for a long time, Wilbur. We've finally got him. We'll crack into that in a minute. Tomo and Wilbur will reveal their top 10. I'm really excited to hear about the top 10 players in this league. Well, have they got it right or have
I'll
they
give you the
got
tip
it?
now, you're not in it.
Fair enough, after 2 games. Well, that would have been close, surely. We'll preview a massive round of finals coming up. But first, let's check out all the weekend's highlights with the Gameface app update with JB.
We give 80% of our profits back to the community.
G'day guys, well it was the final round of the home and away season for Divisions 2 to 4 and there was plenty of action across the board. Let's take a look at all the latest news and results with the Gameface app update, proudly brought to you by Bendigo Bank, Caulfield Park. Now remember, just by getting an obligation-free insurance comparison, you can go into the draw to win some awesome prizes, including a $500 Flight Centre gift card. So contact the team at Bendigo Bank, Caulfield Park to find out more. In Division 2, Keysborough rolled Springvale Districts by 8 points to retain the Sean Oliver Trophy in a spicy clash at Rowley Allen Reserve. It was a tremendous contest from start to finish between the two top teams, with Teddy Edwards booting 5 goals for the Borough in a best-of-field performance. Meanwhile, Skye, they pulled off a massive upset by downing the Doveton Eagles at Power Road, while Hampton pipped Caulfield in a shootout at the Toolbox. East Brighton and Murrumbeena were the other winners. Now in the Magoo's wooden spooner, East Brighton showed plenty of fight against the Tunners, Beena kept the Hiders goalless, and Hampton, Doveton and Springvale rounded out the winners list. Now despite their loss, Springvale takes out the minor premiership in the seniors, with Keysborough and Murrumbeena also on 60 points, rounding out the top 3 on percentage. Heatherton's loss unfortunately consigns them to the spoon. They finished 2 points behind Chelsea Heights. The districts finished top in the 2s as well, and Heatherton have the double chance despite their imminent relegation. Now remember guys, there's plenty more to see on the Gameface record app, including all the live scores, the ladders, post-game interviews and the popular footy shows, with all divisions of footy and netball covered. So make sure you download the Gameface record app for free from the App Store or Google Play. Get your Gameface on.
Fantastic stuff there, JB. Now, thanks to Petter's Suspension and Brakes, we have a special guest in studio. It's Lewis Roberts, the captain from the Hampton Hammers. They're about to foray into a final series and hopefully they go deep. That's what everyone else thinks. I don't hope you go too deep because we're coming up against you this, mate. How you going, Louis?
Yeah, pretty good, mate. Pretty good. So looking forward to finals. It's what we all play for. So it's been a big year. Yeah, looking forward to the weekend.
I think it's one of those ones where you've just plodded along and it's everyone's just worried about Springvale and Keysborough and Dovey and even Murrumbeena, but the Hampton Hammers have just crept in and playing some really nice football at the end of the year, Wilbur.
Absolutely, mate. They've sort of flown under the radar a little bit, which I guess is sort of what you want if you're, trying to break into that sort of top 3 and really press for a premiership. But they're doing very, very nicely. And another handy win on the weekend, Lou. Just getting the job done. Yeah, just getting the job done. We probably switched off after half time, which is something that we need to work on. But yeah, our first half was really good. We've just got to sort of take that first half into this week. Was it more a case of, you already secured the finals berth, there's nothing really to play for, but maybe just sort of taking your foot off the pedal just to sort of ease up, rest up, and just make sure that you don't have any injuries coming into, this Sunday? Yeah,
it might have been a little bit of that. Even in the first half when we were on top, Caulfield was still trying to play, they were still trying to bring it through the middle and trying to play good footy. So probably just missed a target here or there, which turned over to goal the other way. So probably us taking the foot off the pedal, but to their credit as well, they were trying to take the game on a fair bit.
Lewis, Caulfield, let's talk about them because you just played them. Next year, obviously, we had Jake Buggy in the studio last week, which was great. Fantastic to hear all about his club. What do you think about them? Are they going to be a club to look out for next year? Because they've done some nice things this year as well.
Yeah, I think so. I don't think they're that far off the mark. They've had some pretty good results this year against some of the top sides. Maybe not got the result in one, but they've been really close. So I think those sort of guys only need to add a good player here or there. You shore up one end and maybe get a good midfielder here or there. I think they're not far off it. And they look like they were quite young on the weekend as well. Yeah, so that to me is a good sign for them.
Tomo?
Luke, yeah, I've got a good one for you. So coming from YC, obviously top standard and a very successful club, what was your perception of Southern Footy, Division 2? And then now that you've played it, what was it what you thought, or where's it at?
The perception down there is probably not great.
Yeah.
It's not great at all.
And that's why I asked the question.
Yeah. But I've been really surprised. Like, it's a lot better footy than what I probably gave it credit for.
Yeah.
I knew it wouldn't be just a walk in the park, but the standard of footy's a lot better. And even when you speak to other people around the league, they reckon over the last few years, the Division 2 especially has gotten a lot better than what it was. Like, Division 1 was always pretty good footy, but the Division 2 has definitely stepped up over the last sort of 3 years, is what I've been told from a lot of people. So, you know, the good players in the good sides they're good players. And I've spoken to friends that are still obviously involved down in the NPNFL and said, you know, the good players down there would get a game down there. You know, so.
Why do you think that is, Will, or to anyone? What's changed over the last 5 years, do you think, in Southern?
I think from a Division 2 point of view, I think that given that the standard Division 1's increased as such, the top sides in Division 2 are sort of building a list to be able to compete with Division 1. Everyone wants to get to the pinnacle of the Southern League, and they've sort of recruited on the back of trying to, you know, make an impact in that first division. And if you have a look at it, quite a few of those top level sides, they wouldn't be out of place in Division 1 right at the moment. And unfortunately, we've seen this year that it sort of drops away a little bit towards the back end of the division, but certainly the top end's as strong as it can be.
I've got to agree with Lou there. I've obviously played to quite a high level and gone down quite a lot lower than Division 2 Southern Football Netball League as well. And you have to fight to get your kicks wherever you go. Football's not easy. It's not an easy game. The difference is it'll move a lot faster and a lot slicker. You just got to lift your aerobic work rate, I suppose, and get your fitness right. You don't have to be as fit, I suppose, in those lower levels, but it's still a challenge to get a kick and take a mark because you're playing on someone who's basically trying to get it away from you. So
correct.
You've got to bring and also the systems at football clubs these days, as compared to probably 10, 15 years ago, are a lot more professional. Tomo, you're doing that at your football club at the moment, trying to have that careful balance. Is that a challenge too? I'll hand to you, Tomo, for a second, and you can comment on this as well, Lou, what you're doing at the Hammers. Are you trying to bring that professionalism in whilst also making this a social club? Because that's what they are, a place to come and socialise.
I think you've got to get the balance right. In local footy, you've got to realise it is local footy.
Yeah.
We are, at Spring anyway, we're very, we train really hard. We've got the whole footy sort of department structured as a VFL club would be. But to a certain extent, right? You've dumbed it down, simplified a little bit, but you've also got to have fun, right? Because if they're not having fun, they're just going to go away. So you've got to create a good environment with a good culture. Be serious when it's time to be serious, but then when it's time to have some fun, you've got to let them do that.
Louis, same question to you. Coming down hard on a player, I suppose, is the tough one. When you're not getting paid that much money to play. When someone does something wrong, and I know you've had to do something in your football club, disciplinary, I don't know if it was a player or a supporter now, but something happened during the year. I remember you talking about it. You were really strong about what happened as a football club. We don't stand for this. How hard can you go, Lou?
Got to pick your moment and pick your player, really.
Yeah.
I think that's probably the next generational thing that's coming through. You know, back when my first senior game was in 1999, so I played for a while, and back then it was they would go. Like Wayne Wiedemann was my first coach, senior coach.
Jeez.
Who's a man that's not not backwards and coming forwards, but even him, he would pick the guys. There's some guys that you were challenged in front of the group, and you know that he's going to go all right. You know he's going to lift, whereas there's other guys that they're not going to. So I think you need to pick your moment. You might have to drag a guy aside away from everything. Still be firm with him there, but I think if it's not in front of everyone else, maybe he'll get the message a bit better. So yeah, I think these days with the generation coming, it's definitely, as you would know, changed a lot from when we were just coming through. So yeah, pick your moment, pick your player, I think.
That's really good insight for those who are wondering what happens inside football clubs at, I suppose, unprofessional levels. I'm not talking AFL stuff. We all know what goes on at AFL level, but we're talking about local clubs. What goes on behind the scenes? You're going to send your son down there. What are you expecting from the football club and how they're going to look after your play? It's very important to some parents, Will, I would have thought.
Absolutely, and interesting to note that the Hampton Footy Club put an advertisement out. They're looking for applicants for a senior coaching role in 2020. Is that something you're interested in, Luke?
Yeah, it definitely is. I do enjoy coaching. I've done it before back in the country. So, and again, I think as we touched on earlier, it's trying to bring in the professionalism to a club. I'm not saying Hampton's not, but it's trying to bring it in but in a fun way that everyone wants to be there. You know, you'll always get your dedicated 20, 25 that are really pushing for senior selection, but it's getting that next group underneath that your twos players, which a lot of the time can be your heart and soul of the club. It's getting those guys there, enjoying their footy. A strong twos, if you've got a strong twos and a strong ones, like I've played in flags at YC where both have won, and they're definitely the best nights that you can have, and just the atmosphere around the club. So it's trying to get that balance with it.
We did that last year. It was unreal. Our depth is unreal. We had 11 blokes that we had to miss out for a game, and you know the example you were talking about was a guy who played really well in the reserves. He's one of the best players. Didn't train, missed a night, and didn't let anyone know, and that's all it can take. So he missed out for the following week. So. You're right. You build good depth, and then it creates success.
I like it. It's good because some players are out there to actually get some success, and when those guys that are detrimental, I guess, and hurting and affecting that, you've got to come down harder. And that goes not just in senior football. That goes all the way down to juniors too. You're not there to muck around all the time. Yes, it's fun, but we're trying to win something here, and that's games of footy and premierships. Maybe not at under 8 level, but juniors absolutely. You can't be mucking around too much. Let's crack into the first game, and we'll keep talking about the Hammers as we go along because they're about to foray into the finals and looking forward to their action in that as well. But there was a game on the weekend that was probably, I'm not going to say it, well I will say it, maybe a grand final preview. Keezy and Springy, a massive clash. This man here was there. We know Tomo was there, he had to coach, but Wilbur was there and he saw something that was to behold. It was a great game of football, local football firstly, but all the action you'd want.
Mate, I don't know what it is. Every time I go down and see Springvale Districts play, they pull out all the stops, and another absolute cracker. Close for most of the afternoon, and you know, Springy had the lead for most of the day, and you know, Keezy really came home late. I think they kicked 5 goals in the last quarter. Look, I thought Teddy Edwards probably the difference, kicking 5 goals up forward for the Borough, but just as good a game of footy, and certainly as good a Division 2 game as you'll see.
Yeah, well, we had a lot of comments saying, you know, it's good to see local footy back alive well in the area, and the best game of local footy that they've seen. You know, that's guys from the area. So
Crosstown rivals.
Yeah. Well,
pretty much.
We spoke about on the pre-game, you know, Noble Park being the powerhouse in that area, and so their rivals come from, you know, they're Vermont and they're Norwood, and they're from outside the area. It's great footy. It's unreal footy. But it's not a local rivalry, so it's good to have Keezy and Springy having a local rivalry where everyone can come and watch a good game of footy from the area.
A 92-point turnaround from the last time we played Keysborough, so you'd be happy with that.
So if we play them again, does that mean we'll win by 90
Well,
odd?
law of averages would suggest, but you'd be pleased, Tomo, firstly, that you were able to turn that around. You'd be disappointed you didn't get the win because obviously be coming up against them in finals, you would have thought.
Yeah. If anything, it probably keeps us a little bit hungry. We definitely had... we controlled the game for a lot of it, so you can take a few things out of it. Yeah, we
Just
had
talk us through it, Tomo, because the people that didn't see it, it was a close game all day. Give us the rundown.
It was a close game all day. We sort of got to three or four goals ahead 3 or 4 times, so we had the opportunity to really sort of put them away, and we didn't take it. They just wouldn't go away, and then they were just they were relentless, sort of coming back at us all day. And then their last quarter was unreal. They 6 goals to 2, I think. Yep. And Teddy Edwards was probably the difference. They had some really good midfield battle with some big guys in there. Yep. It was good to watch. So yeah, we're disappointed we didn't win. At the same time, keeps us hungry, and we still finished on top. It's
funny. I was chatting to, I think it was Joe Marnie said it to me after the game, that every time we go down and we do a Springy game, someone from the opposition takes Mark of the Year. I think it was Cal White when Hampton played him, took an absolute blinder, went back and slotted the goal, and Teddy as well plucked one out of the goal square that was something to behold, and he went back and slotted that one as well. So don't know what's in that, but certainly plenty of highlights there, and plenty happening off the field as well, with obviously the final home game for retiring champion Chris Bryan, who's had an outstanding career. Collingwood, Carlton, and in the NFL as well, Tampa Bay and Green Bay as well as a punter. His final home game, he really wants to finish with a premiership. His old man played in the flag down there at Keezy. He wants to do that as well. And Ryan Bomber Goods played his 150th game for the club as well. So there's plenty happening in addition to the Sean Oliver Memorial Trophy.
Yeah, both of those boys played really well too for Keezy. I think Bomber had 19 touches. He had 10 tackles.
Wow.
And I reckon, well, he went head-to-head with Raru as you did. Raru had 32, but I reckon Bomber, those 10 tackles, I reckon just about all of them were on Raru. So they both played really well.
Yep.
Lewis, you play against both these teams, have done this year and may do in the finals series. The two different styles. Let's get a conscientious, a different view on this, because we've got someone that obviously is quite Springvale heavy.
What do you mean? I tipped Keezy the first time we played.
Yeah, and you were right, 100 points. But Lewis, yeah, they're both very good teams.
Yeah,
there's different styles.
Different styles. I think Springy moved the footy really well, move it really quick. And I think when we've played Keezy, it's a more combative sort of style. So I think they are contrasting styles, but I don't know, like which is going to stand up on the day come finals time. It's a really hard one to say because they're both going to stand up. They both stand up in big games this year already. So it's a hard one to pick.
Absolutely, and it might come down to, Wilbur, who wants this the most, because you talk about a lot of guys there wanting to win a premiership. Keysborough haven't done for a long time. These guys have won one in more recent times, so you just don't know. You've got to bring it on the day.
Desire takes you a long way, doesn't it? And I still think that these guys are as hungry as ever to get up into Division 1, but you certainly can't discredit the other sides.
To the Swivs Locker Division 2 Team of the Week. We've pulled out the best from the weekend, and I can read here really quickly and see there's about 9 players from that game, Springy Districts and Keysborough, maybe 8 players. So obviously 2 clubs that are on fire at the moment. You boys can read through it. I'll start with you, Wilbur.
Rightio, from the back line, Jordan Cousin from Murrumbina, Nathan Brown from Springy Districts, who won the Sean Oliver medal for Springvale Districts, and Judd Lanyon from Caulfield in the back pocket.
Yeah, halfbacks, old Timmy Barr, Brodie Letter, Springvale Districts, and Ant Brennan, who was their best player across halfback.
Yep, kept his spot in the Team of the Week. Now our man Jake Buggy from Caulfield on the wing, good to see him involved. Nathan McConville from Skye, and Harley Ambrose from Murrumbina, who's having an outstanding year.
With the wings there, Buggy didn't really play on the wing, but we had to put him in somewhere.
Yep.
And he wasn't probably, there was some midfielders that were ahead of him, so we just put him on the wing. He could play anywhere.
Big shout out to Jake Buggy. It is probably his Mad Monday right now.
He's in hibernation at the moment.
He's in hibernation right now.
At the pub, and won their BNF too.
Oh, did he?
Of course he did.
Jeez.
The safest of safe bets there. That was a late Hammers there.
Probably win the league BNF too, if we've got anything to do with it. Right. And the other wingman, Harley Ambrose, I watched and reviewed that game. He was, I thought, their best player on the ground. They didn't name him in the best, but I can tell you now he played really well.
Yep.
Half forwards, Luke Hayes, one of your boys. He's a good little player, isn't he?
He's a good little player, Hazy. He's a lot stronger than you think. He's a lot more nimble than he looks.
Yeah.
He doesn't look like he's but yeah, he's a really good player. And just finishes. He only needs half a step and he'll finish. So.
If you didn't know what he could do, you almost wouldn't take him seriously. He's short and he doesn't look overly fit, but geez, he's a serious player.
Yeah, he is. He's a really good player. He's been really consistent though. And he's gone through the middle a bit as well at times when a few of the older guys have had a rest. He's gone through the middle a bit. So yeah, he's a really good player.
He's only young too, isn't he?
Oh yeah, he'd only be 21.
Yeah.
Yeah, 21.
And he come through in the 19s there, is that right? Or?
No, he's from Seaford originally.
Seaford?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's from down that way. So yeah, he's been a really good player for us this year.
Yeah, plenty of upside.
Yeah.
Bloody oath. Scooty Wettering, centre forward, and Sean James in again from East Brighton. He'd need to be up there in their BNF, you think, James?
Absolutely. And Scooty Wettering had an outstanding game, marked everything that was kicked in his vicinity, worked really hard up the ground. Mate, if he had his kicking boots on, I reckon the result would have been a little bit different. I think he had, 4 goals, 6 or 7. He got plenty of looks at it, and he was bloody unstoppable. So maybe some goal kicking practice for you, Scooty, but also well done. Took out the league goal kicking as well. So well done to you, Scooty, an absolute star. Forward line, Jamie Hackett from Murrumbina. Timmy Edwards, 5 goals for Keezy. He was their best player, in my opinion. And Michael Ashman from Hampton having an outstanding season, Lou.
Yeah, he was really good on the weekend. He's a really strong character, actually. He's a strong boy. He's a really good mark, and he finishes really well. So he'll get up the ground, he'll get back as well. So he's having a really good year, Ashman.
Good to hear.
Yep. Rucks, Ben Finemore from Chelsea Heights, and then the 2 guys that sort of went head to head was Sam Raru and Ryan Goods. Were both had massive days out there, and congrats again to Bomber and his 150th. Yep,
I reckon Sam Raru, probably your best player on the day. He is an absolute superstar. And on the interchange, Big Cheesy Cam Carmody from Doveton, Jesse Stone from Heatherton, James Bateman from Skye, and Chris Bryan from Keysborough played his final game in front of his home crowd on the weekend. Very well done.
Is that known, is it? This is last year.
Yeah, he's hanging them up at the end of the year and taking on a different sort of challenge. So he's had a bloody outstanding career, as we said earlier, and wish him all the best in retirement. Maybe you can go out with a flag, which would really round out a superb career.
Ken Roosterball, Chrissy Bryan.
Yeah.
He could have gone over the States.
He did.
And
He did.
He did, didn't he?
Yeah.
Did he make it? Did he play?
Yeah, he started. Played for a couple of teams. I think Tampa Bay and Green Bay. So
Strange that he didn't last because he can rooster ball. The Gameface Sfnl Division 2 top 25. Now, last week we did 25 to 11.
Yep.
And not controversial at all. I thought it was pretty well done, but maybe this might be.
surprisingly well received. Normally we
Was
expect we normally expect a little bit more of a kickback from a few clubs, going, why the hell wasn't this player selected? How the hell did you have this guy so high? You're on a hiding to nothing when you do these sort of things.
That even happens at AFL level. All Australian sides got,
Yeah, absolutely tear the hair on
so.
apart. But this, let's preface this by saying this is this year. This is not.
Yep.
We're not classing them as the best players of all time. You know, the last 10 years or the last 5 years. This is this year based on the performances, and these boys watch a lot of football. So pretty safe hands. We're going to go from 25 to 11. Oh, that was the 25 to 11 we got up on the screen for you now.
Yep.
So that you can read. Why don't you quickly run through that?
Yeah, so we recap last week. Nick Beer, 25 from Dubton Eagles. Matt Carnelli, 24. Ant Brennan, 23. Cam Carmody, 22. Ben Stacey, 21. Brad Gilder, 20. 19, Harley Ambrose. 18, Mark DeVroe. Any thoughts on him?
He's a gun. He's a really good player. Good fella as well, but yeah, he's
Did you have the short sleeves on the weekend? I think I saw.
Yeah, he wears the long
We've seen
sleeves a bit,
records
but he
on-
had the,
I thought
long,
who's
he had
that
the
when I was
shorts
watching the vision?
on the
Yeah.
weekend. Yeah, it was a bit warm to have the long sleeves on.
Beautiful day on the weekend.
Yeah,
Jimmy
it was.
Anwell, 17. Chris O'Keefe Caulfield at 16. Albie Gleeson at number 15. Gee, he's been an outstanding pickup.
He has been a very good one, and it's purely because he lives across the road pretty much from the ground, so he's been a really good pickup. Just one of those guys you love having around the club. You know, those cold June, July nights, he's the one that's, gets you up and about, so yeah, it's good to have.
Yeah, good man. Number 14, Ladden Josic. 13, Nick Brazel. Number 12, Brody Leder, who we noticed we don't have an action shot for. Bit of conjecture as to whether or not he's too quick to get an action shot or whether he just doesn't get the ball. He actually had a good game on the weekend. And number 11, Timmy Werner, who did an outstanding job on the weekend in the commentary box with us for the Gameface Live match of the day. Unfortunately, we won't be seeing him for the remainder of the year with that horrific-looking finger injury.
All right, well, drum roll, please, because we're going to go down. A countdown from 10 to 1. Who's going to do this? You're going to do it. What are you going to do it with Tomo?
We'll do it with Tomo, I think. So kick it off with number 10, Luke James from Murrumbeena, probably the most dynamic player in the competition. A bit of a slider purely because he hasn't played a great deal of games, but you get him on his day in a big final, and mate, he will tear you a new one.
How old is Luke James now?
Could be 34 odd.
Pretty impressive.
Yeah.
As a 34-year-old to be in the top 10 players and still doing what he's doing. Would have been higher if he'd played a lot more football.
Yeah, arguably one, 2 or 3 for sure. It's a hard. Where do you put him when he's only played a handful of games? But he's definitely still in the top 10, and he's still playing. He's not done for the year, so he might have been managed again. I know he didn't play on the weekend, so we've got him at number 10. Number 9, we've got the retiree Bear Brian, who was really good on the weekend.
Yeah, he was. Good set of hands, and as you said, Robbo, you can roost the ball a country mile, and he'll be a bit of a loss for Keysborough and for the Southern Footy League as well. So
He's so dominant. He goes into the ruck and he just dominates in the ruck. Gives these mids first use. So, and then also is dangerous when he's forward. So yeah, he's a gun.
Yeah, absolutely. Coming in at number 8, Jamie Hackett from Murrumbeena, just racks up plenty of possessions and just such a damaging player through that midfield for Murrumbeena, and would probably underrated him at the start of the season, and he has just emerged as one of the out-and-out guns of this competition.
Did you play him at all, Luke? Number 2 from...
Number 2, no, I didn't play on him, but yeah, both times he's played really well against us. So yeah, he's definitely one to watch.
Yeah. You can have the next one.
Alrighty. Number 7, Matt Wettering from Springy Districts had a great game on the weekend, and as we said, leading goal kicker. He's just such a massive unit for such a young kid. You don't think that he's, 19, 20?
He's just turned 20. He was 19 3 weeks ago.
Yeah. He is just a staggering unit for basically a kid, and the way he marks the ball, the way he kicks it as well. He's just impossible to stop on his day, and definitely one to keep an eye on for the future.
Yeah, he's going to be a star if he isn't already. I've had a bit of a chat to him about maybe looking at a higher level, and I think he likes local footy and loves a beer and all that. So That's okay. And he's re-signed on for Springy next year, which is a huge boost.
Where's
for the
he
club.
from originally?
Parkdale.
Oh, yep.
Just Parkdale Vultures, yeah. He had
Yep.
a little bit of TAC Cup interest at Sandringham and probably not suited to the elite style of footy. But in saying that, his training efforts and everything is great.
Yep.
Loves a beer and that sort of stuff too. So great young fella to have around your footy club.
Yep.
Oh, bloody oath.
Number 6, who's one of my favourites in the comp, and I think he's the best ruckman in the comp, and that's Bryce Sutton from Keysborough.
Yeah, I'd agree with you there. I think that, just so mobile, really tall, pretty good skills for a big man as well, and can tear a side apart on his on a given day. You've had a good look at him as well throughout the year, have you?
Yeah, he's played well against us both times, and he reads the play well. He knows when to go forward. He knows when to sort of be that kick behind the play as well, which is what you want from a ruckman. You don't want him to just sit across that kick behind. He does push forward as well. So yeah, he's dangerous.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can I take the next one? Our man, I actually wanted him higher, but I wanted him at number 1, but I got told not quite, and that's our man Jake Buggy. We had him in last week. He's a gun. He's a good fella. He's taken his footy to the next level. He was always talented, but now he's reliable. He's won their BNF. He plays well every week, and yeah, he could be up there again next year in the top 5.
Was he ever a chance to play AFL time? Do you know?
Don't know. I know he played TAC Cup footy.
So it was a chance.
And he was, and he obviously didn't get drafted or anything like that. And it's a huge get to have him around, and it's great for the league to have him in Southern.
Yeah, absolutely. You said last week the big improvements come through his consistency. He's certainly had a breakout season. He's good. He's now on the verge of being great, and I reckon he's probably a smoky for the league medal. The only sort of drawback is whether or not the Bears have won enough games to give him a chance to win enough 3 votes. But certainly a dangerous player, Lou.
Yeah, he definitely is. On the weekend, he got a heap of the ball, so he's really pacey. Like a couple of times where he thought, he's going to get caught, and then he just finds another gear. So he reads the play well. He sort of started on half back, but even came up onto a wing. So yeah, he's a good player.
And the only other player outside of Murrumbina, Keysborough, and Springy that plays, got Caulfield in there. So it's good to see someone from another club making the top 10. Move on.
Number 4, Sam Raru from Springvale, just an absolute ball through that midfield. He's impossible to tackle. I reckon he got caught maybe once or twice on the weekend, and he just busts so many tackles. He's almost Dustin Martin-like in the way he can just break through multiple tacklers, and his ball use is exceptional, good smarts, but mate, he's a superstar.
Well, yeah, Lou, you went head. It was like 2 bloody bulls going head to head out at Hampton that day. They were into each other, and it was great to watch.
Yeah, we were into it, but almost with a smile on our face as well. And we caught up and had a beer afterwards, and that's what it's all about. So yeah, he's a really good player. Yeah, and seems like a really good fella. I don't know him, but he seems like a really good fella as well.
He's a ripping fella. He's a young father, two young boys. So he's very mature for his age. He's only 24. He's TAC Cup Premiership player, Oakley Chargers. Obviously missed the draft. A heap of the guys did get drafted out of his year level, and went to Port Melbourne for a couple of years and spent a year at Doveton, and now he's at Springy, and he's on for next year as well. And
beautiful. Yeah. Number 3, Matty Lello from Murrumbina, just an absolute star, and week in, week out, we see him in the back 6 in our team of the week, and just wins so much of the footy. He's played at a little bit of a higher level as well, VFL footy, I believe.
Yeah, Sandy.
At Sandringham, and just an absolute star.
Yeah, I coached against him a couple of times when he was at Sandy. He was mainly a forward in that development league there. He's a serious player. I did mention him in the pre-season to you, saying this watch this bloke, he can play, but we didn't put him in originally because we were a bit weary with some recruits. But he's definitely he's one. If he's not the best defender in the comp, he's him and Annual head to head.
All right, the final 2. There's 2 players left that I can think of. The only 2 players left that could really be 1 or 2. It's got to be either Nick Battle or Red Powell. We've got to get through this real quick because it's been a long show already. It's got to be one of those 2. So drum roll. Who gets? We'll go with number 1 or number 2.
We'll go with number
2. Who gets number 2? So we know who's going to get number 1. Big. Come on, make this huge. Make this exciting.
Number 2 is Nick. It's number 2 is Red Powell. He's another one who's always had a lot of talent, but this year consistency. He's taken his footy to the next level. He's on Collingwood's VFL development list. So yeah, it's got a bright future ahead of him.
Which means that only Nick Battle can be number one, and I'll talk through it because he's from my team.
Yep,
and
rightio.
you're a big rap for Nick Battle. I know.
I certainly am.
You like a lot of these players in this league, but Nick is, Ned as everyone calls him, his professionalism is the thing that sets him apart. He brings his food to training every single night. He's got the water, he's got everything. He's doing everything right by his body because he wants to get the best out of his football, which is fantastic to see. I'm glad you picked him at number one because you could easily go with somebody else, but he is really doing some nice things for this division. He really has brought a level of professionalism in his football that people like to actually go and watch.
Yep.
So well done at Nick Battle on the number one spot. And
Just quickly on Nick Battle, he was number one in the pre-season, top 25 as well, keeps his spot. Riet Pell, the big improver, missed out on the top 25 at the start of the pre-season, and we have him in at number 2, and to be honest, he's probably my pick for the league medal this year.
nice.
and
You've got a
out
few
superstar.
picks actually for the league medal. So
I've got one pick, and then I've got a couple of smokies. But Riet Pell
But
is my pick.
throw a blanket over that top 5 for the league best and fairest because those guys are absolute champions. We'll move on. We've got to get some tips. There's only 2 games coming this weekend, brought to you by MelSafe. It is the first of the finals. The qualifying final will be held Saturday at Cheltenham. Rosella's ground there, Keysborough versus Murrumbeena. Keysborough finishing in second spot because Springvale Districts, their percentage was much better. Boys, I'm going to get a tip from you really quickly. We can't talk through it too much. It's going to be a cracking game of football. I'll start up there with you, Tomo.
Yeah, cracker. I think Murrumbeena is probably the form side of the comp. I think all those. So who finished Springy, Murrumbeena, then Keysy, then Murrumbeena, all finished on the same points.
Yeah,
And I think that was fitting to the year.
Yep.
There's going to be at least one change we know of from Keysborough, which is Anderton is out. He got suspended for a week for a hit behind play. Probably a bit stiff, I reckon, but he got the week anyway, probably because he's been up a couple of times. I think it's going to be. I think it's going to go into overtime. I genuinely do. I think I'm going to tip Murrumbeena.
Yep.
Some sore boys at Keysy.
Yep. What about you, Louis?
I'll go Murrumbeena as well.
Yep.
They've actually, they've touched us up a couple of times. So, I'll go Murrumbeena, I think.
I'm going Murrumbeena. I think the ground probably suits him a little bit more. It's a lot smaller than Keysborough's ground. I think Keysborough might be a little bit bashed up after going to war last Saturday. Murrumbeena, they lost their first 2 games. They've lost only 1 for the remainder of the season. And how can you go against winning form, mate?
Isn't it funny how some teams will play well against others and not so well? Obviously, Doveton plays really well against Keysborough, but just cannot seem to get over Murrumbeena over the last couple of years. It's been a real fight to beat Murrumbeena. So it's going to be a really cracking game of football. If you've got nothing better to do on Saturday, why don't you get down to the Rosella's ground there and check it out, because I reckon they'll be going at it. The elimination final will be held the next day, same ground, Doveton Eagles versus Hampton Hammers. This is also going to be quite exciting. Who plays? I don't know. It's going to be exciting to find out.
Huge.
Check out the Herald Sun. You know, everyone's all over this game, aren't they, Louis? I'm not worried about that other game. No, not at all. It is the elimination final. Whoever loses goes out. Tomo, what do you reckon?
Well, yeah, pretty interesting result against Sky last week, but I'm going to throw a few names at you. All right. Callanan, O'Neill, Segursma, Reid, Nick Beer, Hendy, Ricky Johnson, Neve, and the one and only Russell Robertson. 228 game. Was it 228?
Yeah, spot on.
Superstar. For the AFL is all going to come in.
428 goals as well.
428. Sorry, mate.
Thanks for throwing that in there.
There's some big names to come back in. Can they flick the switch straight away? I don't know. If they do, if they play their best footy, if they both play their best footy, I think Doveton will win. But I'm going to go with Hampton in this one. I think they'll win by a narrow margin. They'll have nightmares about that ground, Robbo, last year.
Yeah, that's true.
I think Hampton can
A lot
get
of
it done.
psychological stuff going into it for you, Tomo, but understandable too, because Doveton hasn't been great over the last, and you always want good form coming into finals. Hasn't been great with all those injuries, and a couple of players that aren't going to play as well in this game or the finals because they're injured for the year. We can't tip really, can we? Just say we're excited about this game of football.
Yeah,
it'll be
why do you think you can win? Or where do you win?
Fair enough. Go on, Louis.
Look, last time we played, we won. So we go in with confidence because, the last time we played Doveton, we had a good win. So similar size ground, all those sorts of things I think work in our favour. We've got a few guys that will be back this week. So look, we go in quietly confident. It's a final, anything can happen. So you don't go in thinking, yep, we're going to win.
Yeah.
But we go in quietly confident, and we just got to bring our best game come
How
Sunday.
do you stop Robertson? I know it's hard. It's almost impossible. But how do you?
No, it's like anything. You've got to stop it coming from up the middle. If it comes through with no pressure, well, you can do what you want, really. So it's making sure it's a high-pressure game.
Yeah. Where's the list at the moment? Injuries, all fit and healthy, raring to go?
Yeah, we should be right. We should be right this week. I don't think we've got many out at all. So there's no excuses from our end. So it's just go out and we go into it.
How's the excitement levels down at training at the moment? You've been playing finals for a while now.
Yeah.
Must be up and about down there at the toolbox.
Yeah, it has been really good. We haven't played finals for a couple of years, so it's always good. Some of the older experienced guys are getting around the younger guys and telling them what it's about. So yeah, finals are what we play for. So you go through all those. You go through June, July. To get through to the sort of this time of year, so you can be nothing but excited.
There's no pressure on you guys at all. You go in and you get done. No one batters an eyelid. It's a free hit in a final. It's a really good position to be in, I think. You just get a free hit.
I've come from fifth and made a grand final and lost it by a goal. So anything can. I know it's a saying that gets said a lot, but anything can happen. Same with Upton. They can come from fourth and get on a roll. Yeah. It's finals are a funny thing.
Yeah.
Wilbur, quickly.
By rights, Doveton should win this game. However, I really do not know. I'm going to tip Hampton, but really this one is, you said it could go to extra time. I reckon this one could go to extra time.
Great show, guys. Well done. I'm only going to go with your reason, Tomo, as to why we can win. 10 guys coming into the side. It's got to help a little bit, doesn't it? That has been a great show. I've really enjoyed that.
Are you playing? Give us exclusive.
I'm not saying anything. This is psychological warfare, my friend. It's very important.
Getting his game face on already.
Get my game face on.
He told me before off camera he's going to kick 9 this week.
Is that all?
Quietly confident. Make sure you download the Gameface app. You can probably watch the game on the Gameface app because we live stream games, not just this division, not just this league, other leagues as well. There's so much football to watch on that app, and you can get it in the Google App Store or in the iTunes Store. Good luck to you this week, Lewis Roberts. Thank you so much for joining us on the panel today. As I said, thanks to Petters Brakes and Suspension. We've been trying to get you on all year. We finally got you in pretty much the last little...
Good time to get him in too. Finals around the corner.
Absolutely. We're excited. We can't wait. Thanks again, Lou. Good on you, mate.
Cheers. Thanks for having me.
Thanks to you two boys. As always, we will see you next week as we come back to talk about those 2 games of football and the rest of the finals. Ciao.
Get your game face on.